Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wee Weekly Free. So apologies for John not being here today. He's absent. However, what isn't absent is the presence of Harry Nugent, the all-time top goal scorer for Lindum FC. It's a long time since I said that sentence.
It's a long time since I've heard it.
Well, man, how have you actually been since the Lindum days? Same question I asked to Wes. I'm just curious, you know.
Good.
You've been up to?
Yeah, very good. Probably about 2 years now, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've been up to a lot of stuff, which so you know, it's been interesting.
Has it? That's good. That's good. I've seen you, you know, about doing your things. You have gone to Manchester UCFB, if that's correct,
yes.
And you've been around, I'm sure, the top journalists in the country and everything. How's that experience been, you know, on the sports journalism course and everything?
It's been really good. Some of the people you get the opportunity to meet, some of the people you get the opportunity to be mentored by as well. And some of the facilities and the experiences that you get is just like, I wouldn't have imagined it being like possible like 5 years ago. If you'd said, oh, do you reckon that's something you'd be able to do? I probably would have told you no chance. But yeah, it's been incredible. So and the experience living there as well is really good, which I'm sure we'll get into and stuff. So yeah.
What experience have you had as a journalist? Who have you met? What have you done?
Who have I met? Met Martin Tyler.
Did you?
Spoke to him. Done a few things pitch side at various football clubs. Bury, Curzon Ashton in the National League North.
I
can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
How was it meeting Martin Tyler? Like, what was he like as a person?
He's generally like one of the most loveliest people I ever meet. I've not met many celebrities, so I don't really know, but usually you sort of expect them to be a bit, they're in a rush or they haven't got a lot of time. He finished doing this talk and then obviously everyone wanted to get a photo of him, and everyone's queuing up and everyone's asking him a question, and he sort of took the time to speak to everybody individually. And even the guy said, oh guys, we might have to speed it up because Martin's got a train to catch, and he just went, no, it's all right, I could just get the next one. So he stayed there, and I remember speaking to him I asked him a question. Obviously I asked him about the Aguero goal moment. What else was I going to ask him about?
Aguero!
And I thought, I'll just give you an answer. He stood there for 10 minutes, and even I at the end was going, I kind of feel a bit bad for these other people waiting. I had to stop him from talking to me. Because there was other people.
You had to stop him from talking
because he just like, it was like he enjoyed talking to somebody, and like he just enjoyed speaking about something that he'd experienced. He didn't really care about the fact that there was maybe the fame or like other people would be like, there was no ego there. Absolutely no ego at all.
Very humble,
So honestly, one of the and he said something to me that always stuck with me. He said, if you love the game enough to live it, you'll do well in the industry.
That's incredible.
So
that's the best. That's really good advice. You know, like absolutely, he ain't wrong.
No, he's not. Yeah.
You know, I totally agree with him, because in football, I suppose we've lived it, haven't we? You know, we've lived football at times, and I think we know what's coming next with this. I think. So I was speaking to Wes. Obviously, we've had Wes on the podcast. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. Yeah.
Got great insight from Wes and his boxing career, but most notably his footballing career. Now, you are still, even though we had someone else come in and nearly, you know, you still hold the record for the goals scored at Lindum, and was a very prominent part of Lindum, although at the beginning it didn't seem like it was ever going to be that way. You came to Lindum and you became like number 9, Harry Nugent, you know, someone that everyone remembers. Before we get into that, I wanted to ask, because West Common was still like not lengthy, but it was still a few bits I want to talk about them days. Like, so with West Common, he played Lindum on 2 occasions. But first of all, why did West Common form?
So it was, I mean, you're going back to like proper COVID, like 2020.
Yeah.
I think me and Tyler had the idea, we wanted to do a 6-a-side team, just us and the mates, for ages.
Yeah.
And then we saw that you were doing it, and there was a couple of other clubs doing it, and we kind of went, well, let's just create a club, let's just make a team.
Yeah.
Ben had like Lindum Colonial that he'd already done.
That was it, yeah.
And we'd actually already joined them for that charity game, so we were part of Lindum Colonial.
Yeah.
That obviously never happened.
No.
And me, Ben and Tyler were talking about it, and we sort of just went, yeah, let's just join the same league as Lindum, because they were in there, and thought it would be fun. You know, a bit of friendly, I mean, rivalry, but it was always, you know, there was no malicious intent behind it.
Oh, definitely not. It wasn't like Lincoln Flames versus Lindum, was it?
And then we did the league for a bit. We did it for about 3 months, I think. And we actually did all right. I think we won. We beat a team. We won 3-2 one game, scored last minute. I think we were in a different division to you.
Yeah, that was it.
Because when we joined, there was 2.
You joined the Prem, we was in the Championship.
That was when there was actually 2 leagues.
Oh, did we? Because there was 2 leagues, yeah. Weren't we in the Premiership for a little bit while you was there, and then we dropped down before we played you? Because I seem to remember our last game being when, because it was your first game in the Prem, that's it, and our last game in the Prem, and we had that we lose every week game.
Yes, yeah, obviously that was my first game for Lindum.
That was it, yeah, your first.
Very questionable haircut. It was COVID, so we can.
Was it the Oasis 96 TikToker type of haircut?
I mean, there was one I had a couple years ago that wasn't quite as bad, but that one was. You probably can find a photo of it somewhere.
I've got the video. It was very long. You could tell it was lockdown, couldn't you? Because you had the similar hairstyle before lockdown, because I've seen the pictures, and you had like sunglasses or something, and you look like similar to how you are now, but obviously you look a little bit older, but like but then you just came back, and it was the day we first met, and you had it like up down here, yellow 15-16 Lincoln top, blue shorts, and I was just thinking, oh hello Harry, and we met.
Very eccentric.
Exactly, you could say that again, couldn't you? With your Homer Simpson up front. Played like Homer Simpson.
I don't think I played very well either.
I think you made a couple of passes, but yeah, you're definitely the better player now or then, you know, than you were in 2020 for sure. So yeah, playing that game, we lose every week. Lindum's first win, obviously that went very viral and is still today the most viewed video on the Lindum channel. Talk us through that game. How was it? Because you and Tyler were a very big influential part.
I only played like
that
10 minutes of it. I can't remember.
But you did a lot at the sidelines.
Yeah, I was on the sideline at the end, sort of cheering on for Lindum. I remember. I mean, I think the team that won the game was the goal scorers. None of them were actually Lindum players, I don't think.
Technically, Tyler, because he did play the first game for Lindum.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And I think it's quite fitting he scored our first league goal. The first ever goal was Thomas Green, and we all know that one. He scored 2. And it was that friendly where I, put it... It's that really poorly filmed friendly, if you remember.
Oh yeah, I think I remember.
Where Dan had his top off and he was defending. It's such a funny game. That was my first ever game in goal, by the way. I could not believe. I thought I was going to do crap. I made a few saves. I surprised myself. Probably played better at that game than I ever did in my whole career, but we'll get to that in a minute. No, back to that. So West Common have played. We lose every week. Take us, like, before the game, what's your anticipation playing for Lindum, and...
It was a bit of a funny time because obviously that was, what was it, August 2020, we'd only just come out of lockdown.
Yeah.
So it was a bit weird to see that many people in one place, Yeah. I think that would have been the first time I'd gone to a Soccer Sixes game. Yeah. And obviously it only just started back after COVID. Yeah, no, it was, I think it was probably the first time I'd seen, I don't think, it might have been the first time I'd seen Tyler since before COVID.
I
can't remember, but it would have been something like that. I hadn't seen him. So, and obviously a lot of other players there were people from my school, so I've probably seen a lot of them for the first time as well. Quite a good experience given the context at the time.
Yeah.
And it probably sold the idea of joining the sixth side. We'd already joined obviously at that point.
Yeah.
That was our first game as well. But that was my first taste of it, and it was just really enjoyable, I think. You know, obviously you had the drama, the jeopardy of Lindum actually win a game of football.
So you played against Lindum. What a great time! We're all celebrating, and having our first ever victory. You guys played a massive part, and that was obviously maybe a little bit of a foreshadowing of what was to come. But at the time, we all didn't know that. But let's jump to times where we thought, that Harry and Tyler were never going to join Lindum. When Lindum played West Common 2 times.
Yes.
Those 2 games.
The first time, haven't we?
The first time was at the West Common field, your home, and ironically, the only game you ever played at home was that game.
Was that game.
So take us through that. How was that game? What did you enjoy about it? Is there any standout moments? Because that was a big game.
That long ago now.
What about the Harry Nugent and he hits the bar?
Oh yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Was that the one where it like loops over?
And Jack Danby's like,
yeah, miskicked it, and then it sort of went off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one, and I scored.
Scored a
tap in, and then it was a fun game. Again, it was like just after COVID, so it was just good to get out and play a bit of football. The famous Jack Danby quote is from that game. The only things that survived in terms of I know obviously the footage is maybe still out there somewhere, but no one really cares about it. It wasn't very. I think production-wise, it wasn't a very good. I think the second half was filmed purely behind the goal.
I think the second West Common game was a lot more memorable. That was definitely a better game. But the first one, no, absolutely. Jack Danby's like one of the greatest moments for me, because every social media big thing needs a catchphrase, and I just think that became like the catchphrase.
I think we milked it quite a bit.
We certainly did. And that was Danby's debut. Do you know what one of the funny things that I found out years later? I listened to the footage. He says, "Calm it, we've got time," and then you can hear Peter Frankman say, "Hurry up, Ben." And it just makes the whole clip funnier.
I didn't know that.
There you go. Which kind of leads on to the second one, which is for me my favourite, although it did involve Jack Danby playing as a holding midfielder. We had Thomas Green, Ashton Cross.
I remember going and playing it, and I couldn't tell you what the score was.
I know there was a ball, there's an infamous moment, I'm trying to remind you, where you get past the ball, you're literally right at the back post, you hit the ball and it goes out past the bar and you miss an absolute sitter. Do you remember that?
I think actually, I do remember that.
And Ben Whittle goes, clear the footage.
No, I do
Not a
remember that.
chance, Mr. Whittle.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Take us through it. What happened there? That was.
I don't know. It happens, doesn't it?
Yeah,
all the
it
big
to everyone.
Erling Haaland misses sitters.
Oh yeah.
It happens.
It does. Bobble on the pitch.
I scored. We got a goal or something later on. Was that the one we did a penalty shootout at the end?
Yes, it was. Yes.
Okay, I do remember that. Though.
Yes, it was. And then at the end, Ryan Huthwaite misses. You win the penalty shootout as well, which was, it's like a Papa John's penalty shootout.
We'd already won the game.
We already won the game. I think it was just a bit of a friendly banter thing.
Yeah. How do I say it? When we were doing was it West Common FC?
Yeah.
We didn't have enough no one was really, there was no desire for anyone else. And in the end, it just felt very forced. And we were trying to get people to play every week rather than people wanting to come and play. So we didn't continue after, it was stopped for COVID again.
Yeah.
And we just decided not to do it. And then I think you texted Tyler, because I remember being on the phone with him. He said, Jordan's messaged me asking me to join Lindum. And obviously, I sort of said, he said, I want to do it, but I'm not going to do it I will only join if you join.
Yeah, I remember that.
And obviously, also, I knew Wes and I knew Ryan very well. I think if you'd gone back and realised I wasn't that warm to the idea of it.
Right, yeah.
But at that point, there was no real rivalry anymore because we were a thing. And Tyler was kind of up to the idea. I kind of wanted to play football again. I enjoyed playing football every week. Warmed to the idea very quickly, and then in the end it just sort of happened, and maybe other people at the club weren't quite as pleased at the time that it was...
That was insightful, yeah. No, you definitely have watched the podcast, haven't you?
No, but I remember it at the time.
Yeah.
There was a few long-term serving players who maybe
I never
they just wanted to play football, and with more people coming in.
Yeah.
Particularly, there was a couple of players that's... am I allowed to name names?
Yeah, sure.
Like Thomas Greed and Ashton were both strikers.
Yes,
Well, I wasn't really a striker at that point, but, obviously, at any football club, a player comes in your position, you're a bit annoyed, aren't you?
Yeah, of course you are, yeah.
So it's not, you can't really blame them for more people coming in, and, maybe it was, there was a time, wasn't there, right at the start of that third season we did all together, where there was like 15 of us on the side of the pitch. There was way too many people there. We had like 6 or 7 subs.
My bad.
And you couldn't keep everyone happy.
No, you couldn't. So you had to have that like chop. But you won that battle to get top spot, which was incredible, because Thomas Green, of course, was a man that had really cemented his position there. And then you come in and add your goal prowess, and it was good, It was
at that point, though.
Yeah.
When was that like? I don't think I scored for like.
No, you didn't. Not
until ages.
Yeah.
So that's what I didn't really have was a penalty, and it wasn't a good penalty either.
That was it. Straight down the middle.
Straight down the middle. But it had to go in.
It did.
I mean, I was sometimes maybe you think, if I hadn't have gone in, how different could it have been?
If you'd missed that, would you have ever scored?
No.
Because I kind of remember you scored that penalty, and then they just all followed after that. It was like, because most strikers, don't they get into rhythm. Once they score one, you just know they're going to get more. But so DJ Bob's, one of the best games you ever played, that iconic chip on the keeper. Take us through it. How was it playing that game?
Well, that all happened in like 5 minutes. Hatrick. So I don't think I was on the pitch. That long. I came on, and they were very high up the pitch, obviously, because we were so bad. They kept scoring. All of their players were trying to get another goal. So it was like high pressing, but there was like one player sat back, he misplaced a pass, I got through on goal. And obviously just at that point, I just thought I'd get on target, and went in. And then 5 minutes later, there was another one where Aaron kind of wins the ball back. He's going after it, but then it's sort of, I was with him, and it was kind of, he just left it for me because it was a bit far from him, and then I just one touch managed to put it past the keeper. And the last one, which was the best of the lot, and still I might be, I don't know if it's my favourite goal I ever scored, but Aaron plays a really good ball. And over the top, and the keeper came out. He didn't come out loads, but he came out to try and get the ball, and it sort of bounced, and the ball was like kind of there. The keeper's about to get it, and I thought, well, if I just get any touch on it, I've got a chance, haven't I? And sort of flicked it, kind of like that way, because that was where the goal was, and it just sort of perfectly went over his head and went in, and it looked really good. And then that was it. That was probably the game that set everything else in motion for my Lindum career.
Outstanding.
Colin Twist comes running on the pitch with a camera in my face going, Hatrick.
And then you just like,
cool.
You were like, just like...
I was like, I know, it's a game to play here, come on.
I love that.
But really, inside I was like, absolutely buzzing.
That's one of my favourite moments of yours. It's just the way he calls it, Harry Hatrick,
I was trying to play it really cool,
So you have a hat-trick a few weeks later as well?
So this was, there wasn't many of us there. It was me, I was there, I remember Ryan being there, I was there, I think Tyler was there. And then I think it was just people filling in. Oh, Dan was there as well. That was Dan played a full game.
He did, yeah.
Because no one else turned up. Why did no one else turn up? Because it was the night after England beat Denmark in the Euro 2021 semi-final. I mean, Euro 2020, but 2021 semi-final. And we all went round a former Lindum player, Callum's house, and watched it, and there was a lot of drinking done, so quite a few sore heads in the morning. And I originally wasn't going to play because I was really rough.
Hair of the dog.
Really rough. And it got to about 5 o'clock. I think the game was like 7:30. It got to about 5 o'clock, and obviously in the group chat, I was going, we've got 4 players. And I was feeling a little bit better, so I went, right, I'll come down and I'll play. And then I scored a hat-trick. So it was good.
Well, maybe.
And I was hungover. After that, I don't know, this is where we get a little bit.
Just to explain it, we're in 2021 very soon, only because we had they had the second and third lockdown, which kind of took us to June, I think, didn't it?
And then this was just after, obviously.
Yeah.
Kind of became the core group of Lindum, because it's probably DJ Bob's Boys was one of the last games where we had
everyone.
No, who left? So Ashton, Tom, Emil.
Yeah.
They all left, and Danby.
Yeah, Danby left.
So the 4 of them left all at once, and then you had Connor Twist around for a bit.
Yeah.
And then he left as well.
I think he left at a similar time. I left
because he was at DJ's Bob Boys.
Yeah.
You were still there at that point.
My last game was
end of May, I think that was, because I remember it being.
That was the one where the crowd turned up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. But no, so yeah, we're going through that. So we've played USC, we've played the game you scored your first goal. We played DJ Bob's Boys, you got 3. Played another game where you got 3. Now we're going to Ball of Duty, that chapter. So
yeah, that was a weird one.
That was a weird one.
That was probably the time where the club was very nearly like done. Not because of the crowd or anything.
Oh no.
But certain loads of things happened at once that day. It was people trying, let me come on for a bit, and then some people letting them on. And then I remember at the end of it, me and Tyler going, we were Tyler was fuming. And he said he was going to leave, and I was like, well, if you leave, I'm going to leave. And at that point you're going, well, everyone else is kind of going, well, but hang on a minute, hold on just a second. I don't really remember how it all sort of calmed down, but I think obviously you said it was your last game. You kind of left, and then we sort of had a bit of a period, like a week or 2 period to regather and
you was the
get stuff.
Dan was the successor, wasn't he? So Dan took charge for a little bit before you did. So how was that time? How did you remend the club from the very interesting result against Ball of Duty? Because obviously, the attendance had never been as big, but as you say, the club was there was a lot going on behind the scenes. How did you guys mend in that recreational period of 2 weeks and then going forward?
So this would have been just before that that hat-trick game. I think there was a serious clean up. Obviously we already did it, but that was let's strip it down to bare bones and build it back up. So Connor Twist probably was already gone at that point. We got rid of basically Aaron and
Carl.
Carl kind of they became
secondary
honorary
players.
Sort of look, if you're there and we need a player, you can play for us, but they weren't a part of the squad, if you will. I guess you can call it. They weren't a part of the team really. So it was literally just me, Wes, Ryan, Tyler, Dan. Ben was kind of still
Will Stacey.
And then we get into, so we stripped it down to just that. It was a lot easier to manage. Everyone got along really well, and it kind of just we're not going to win any games or even score many goals at the minute. But let's just get things off the pitch going smoothly again. So we did that. Everything's going really well, and then we come across the problem of the goalkeeper situation, which this goes on for years, where we can never get a goalkeeper.
But before that, Dan's in charge. How did that transition happen? Because I think it was the October-November time it happened. How did that transition happen where you was the captain instead of Dan?
Dan was kind of... I don't think he'd mind me saying this. him being in charge was sort of just a label more than it was a practical job. He basically picked the team, but really
people were picking it for him. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you only had 6 players to pick from anyway, so you didn't really have to worry about disappointing anyone. It was like, oh, who picked the team? Oh, well, just the 6 players we picked last week. So it was kind of like he was just on the sidelines, occasionally saying something, which
shoot,
you know, yeah,
score a goal.
Yeah, basically, Dan was there for that summer. Was in charge. Yeah, and then I think he just sort of was like, well, I'm not really doing anything, so if you want to take over, and I was like, yeah, sure. Actually, the first game I took over, I think we lost 2-1. So it was quite a good result at the time.
That was the JTFC, whatever it is, game. Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
and we were drawing 1-1 for ages. Yeah, and then you're getting into the sort of the resurgence, we say. Of
Danby had a second spell, which a lot of people don't really remember.
Yeah, I think he
came back. Yeah, he did.
Played a couple games. This is going to October now.
Yeah.
So this is. I think we played Ball of Duty and beat them, which I wasn't at. I was absent for that game.
You beat them? Was this like the second game?
That was the last game we played against them, I think.
So you had 3 games, okay. Well, 4 technically, but girls allowed, they were called then. So the first game I remember was the 7-1. Second game was 5-4 to them in a friendly, and the third game you beat them?
Yeah, okay. 2-0 I think we won.
2-0,
or
right.
3-1.
I never knew this. So Lindum do have a victory.
Of it on the Instagram. Tyler had his blonde hair.
Oh yeah.
And it was like the first win in the league.
Wasn't they called the Yorkshire Heroes at that point?
Yeah, but it was the same team really.
Okay,
and,
okay.
Yeah, Yorkshire Heroes or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
They change the name every
and that was
2 weeks, they change the name.
That was really funny, because I remember my mate Danby saying to someone who was the captain of the team that I was playing for at the time, he said to him, oh no, I'm not playing, I can't play tonight, you know. I remember this happening. Yorkshire Heroes got beat 2-0 by Lindum, and I remember this post coming up, and it was Danby smiling in the group photo, and the captain at the time saw it. He was fuming. He was absolutely. That's my biggest memory from that game. Just the group chat kicking off afterwards, saying "You disloyal bastard," you know, and all that type of shit.
Yeah,
that was really funny.
Yeah, so then that was. So we started to play a bit more like we were actually in games.
Yeah.
You know, we're still losing pretty much every week, but we were, you know, scoring goals and maybe losing by 2 goals. And then that's when we played that, was it not Florrist? The guy, the Mansfield top.
This is where you scored one of your best solo goals.
That game's a funny one. There's a few things that happened in that game. So that would have been, I think that was November. Or early December, late November, 2021. Yeah. Bit of a weird time, obviously, for everyone. And there was a couple of things that happened in that game. So the goal that I scored, obviously, you know, with the messy commentary here, I think we scored 2 goals. Can't remember who scored the other one.
Yeah.
I remember my one. I think
you got 2, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I did get 2.
I think you got 2, yeah.
That one, but the other one might not be on camera, I don't know.
Yeah, that was it.
Something like that.
Because there's one where you just took it past 2 players and put it in the corner.
That one was a really good goal.
Yeah.
We were like 4-1. And I think I'm going to say it's the same game, because I can't think if it was a different one, but I'm pretty sure it's the same game.
Yep.
That Wesley Townsend sees red. Have you heard about this story?
Go on, tell us.
So, I don't think there was many red cards. Actually, no. Yeah, he did get sent off from the bench. So he wasn't on the pitch and he got sent off, or sin binned. That Mansfield player, obviously, was a right pain in the arse, you know. He kicked you and he was just a dickhead. Like, I don't know if you even played against him, just an absolute twat, you know. And it wasn't even like a funny, you know, you get shithousery and it's funny and they're in your ear a bit and it's all fun and games, and then after they go, oh mate, that he was just a knob. Yeah. Like, you get it sometimes where someone's in your ear a bit, giving you a bit of stick, and it's all shithousery, but it's mind games and it's fun, and you can kind of have a laugh at it and go, yeah, fair play. It's a bit of
Speaking from experience, Harry.
Yeah. But this guy was just a prick.
Yeah.
Like, straight up, just a knob.
Yeah.
And what happened was, I think it was halfway through the second half, I was on the pitch, Wes was on the bench, so I think on the pitch it was like me, Tyler, Callum, Ryan, and it might have been Aaron Lucas, to be fair, or someone like that who was playing at the time. And I'm sort of like, the ball's going out of play. So, ball goes out of play. I think that Mansfield guy had sort of maybe kicked Ryan a little bit. Ryan, he turns around and just gives him a bit of, just goes, winds him up a bit. And the Mansfield guy kind of pushes Ryan a little bit. And I sort of turn around and go, nice, he's just been a knob and he'll turn around in a minute. And Ryan's winding him up. So I've turned around and I'm like, tying my laces or something. And then I like, tie my laces, And I turn around, and the next thing I know, Wes has sprinted onto the pitch. He's completely lost it.
I love Wes.
And he's just ran at this Mansfield guy. I've never seen him like it ever, and I've never seen him like it since. And he's just completely lost his head. And he's gone.
Dylan Pepperas.
Yeah, like it was like something out of like a soap.
Yeah.
Like he came running on,
and
he's going, "Come on, then, don't be talking to my friend like that. Don't be pushing us about. Don't kick my friend like that." And then just turn away. And then that Mansfield guy's obviously reacted as well.
Yeah.
And then a couple of their other players, they weren't like, the whole team was just a bit, they were all a bit of knobs.
Yeah.
The Mansfield guy goes and punches Wes, like sort of not very well, because there's a guy kind of in the way. Me and Tyler are trying to.
Oh yeah, like
me and Tyler,
one of those over the shoulder little nudges into the face.
Sort of he made some contact, and it wasn't very like, a bit. He sort of brushed him, knocked his glasses a bit, and then Wes, after he does that, is even more angry. Because he's like, he punched me when I was like turning around, like I said, he's going even more. He's going, come on, like actually trying to start a fight at this point. I've never seen him ever like this. Me and Tyler are holding him back, going, mate, just relax. But the thing that I was really annoyed about was none of the Notts Florrist players were really like trying to stop the fight. I think one of them out of the entire, all of us, me and Tyler and Khan, had gone over and was stopping Wes, like all three of us are holding him back at once. Because I don't know, he's a pretty strong, big guy, obviously. This was before his weight loss, but even then he was still pretty like angry as well. So he's putting a lot of force into trying to get past us. But there was only one of their players trying to stop that Mansfield guy from, really escalating the situation. And then obviously Danny comes over. He calms Wes down. He says, I have got to send... he sent the Mansfield off guy as well, but he said, I have got to send him. I mean, Wes wasn't on the pitch, so we kind of got away with it. He just meant, he can't come back on Wes now. And then Wes sort of sits back down, Danny's talking to him, saying, just don't react. Like, Danny was lovely about it.
Oh yeah, he's a great man. He's that me a few times, yeah.
And as soon as Wes got down to the sideline, he sort of, like, it was like the Hulk, Like he had like Bruce Banner, he can't remember, like he sort of like turns into the Hulk.
Oh, I know what you mean,
And then he comes back and turns and goes, what the fuck was I just doing? Like he was completely like, it's like, I don't know what happened, he just like snapped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen Wes like that, and that was one of the only times something really kicked off at a Lindum game.
Yeah.
At least involving like one of our players anyway. So there you go.
That's incredibly interesting. So Harry, so you've played the Notts Florrist guys, a bit of competitiveness there. I'm having a bit of a mental block from mid 2022 to from 2021, because you was off camera for a lot, wasn't you, through that time? And 2022 was really when we started it back up again.
Yeah, there was.
So you played Abdul Arita.
Yes,
that was a good game.
A few times.
First game back on camera, they were a good side, weren't they?
Way later, we played them. We're talking 6, 7, 8 months later.
Yeah.
When we were in a title race.
That was the Campiali Madalani they were called.
Well, they were like the
that
same.
Time, yeah. Same lads.
There was a crossover of a few players there.
Yeah.
So
they're actually really formidable team in Lincoln. They've played everywhere and won every league, and I think they played like a Sincil Bank World Cup, which they won. With the same players, so and I think that brings us on, because I don't think much happened from 2021, late 2021 to summer 2022. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
so
not on the pitch anyway.
No, yeah. So you have Abdullah Reba had changed their name to Campiani Madalani. Now, you played Campiani Madalani, and this was the season where it got called off and they changed to a new league format, but you was in the title race. I think you initially finished
we
third.
played like 4 games, to be honest. We really milked the fact we were in a title race, even though we was completely... I mean, I think we won against...
Branston,
MaFridge.
Yeah.
There was a team we beat.
Yeah.
And then another team forfeited, so we got another 2 points. Yeah. And then we won. So it was like the 4th game of the season, and maybe we drew a game or something. So we were like 1 point behind them. And we actually played quite well. Like, obviously there was a point where it was only like 5-4.
Yeah.
No, I think it was like 3-3-2. And I don't know if they were like taking it a bit easy.
It was like back and forth.
We were losing
wasn't it?
3-2, and then it went to like 6-2. No, then it went to like 6-2, and then we went to 6-4, and we thought, actually, you know, we're not doing too bad here. And then they won sort of 8-4 in the end. But yeah, that was an interesting, like, kind of little. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I think it was September sort of time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that was when things started. That season, probably the best. Well, not that one, but coming into probably the best time performance-wise in the entire club's history was that late 22 to 23.
Yeah.
In terms of actual results, that was when we.
That was really good. Yeah. So you had that. I think then you have the Real MaFridge rivalry, which had consisted.
That was like just before that 8-4.
Yeah.
So that was in the summer.
What was your reaction to beating them 2-0 initially then? So you scored 2 goals. Do
you know they were actually quite good defensively that game?
Yeah, they had Bradley Woolley saving everything in those goals, didn't they?
Yeah. So that was a weird one.
Yeah.
And you had Shea Purdy, but they didn't have anything going forward.
No.
It was just Shea Purdy up front by himself.
Yeah.
Sort of like trying to beat Tyler in a 1v1 every time and not getting any luck. He was in goal for the 6-0 and the 8-3.
Yeah, he was. I remember that. Bradley Woolley has a blinder. You managed to squeeze 2 goals past him. Riley Clay plays at the back, and I call him Mini Jack Danby. I was still tease Riley to this day about that. And then second game. Bit more formidable opponents. It's the return, the first, I think, game we've seen Thomas Green play since October 2021, that Girls Aloud game where he scored 2 past Lindum. He comes back with the blonde highlights in his hair and the Liverpool shirt, trademarked on. Yeah, with the gold, you know, because he's won the Champions League the season before. Thomas hasn't.
I mean, they had JJ in. So, yeah, that was probably one of my favourite games. It sticks in the memory well. It's just really fun, and there wasn't any like the real MaFridge players, even though they were losing it 3, were enjoying themselves as well. If you watch the game back, it's all like a laugh. Yeah, I mean, we're having a good time because we're scoring 8 goals, but they seem to be, you know, they're in good humour in it. Really, they're sort of taking the, you know, there's no like bad blood there or anything like there has been maybe in other rivalries. And that was just really good. I remember I scored a hat-trick obviously in that game. Ryan missed an absolute sitter and a penalty. Yeah, penalty as well. Yeah. So that was a bad game for him. I think both of them there was like one he missed a penalty and then the other one where it hits the post and it's literally an open goal and he just plays it over the bar and then everyone kind of falls on the floor in unison. So that was one of my favourite games ever.
You score a goal and then you do that infamous Pele celebration, don't you? Where I think Wes or someone holds you up, Callum holds you up in the air and you're like that, aren't you? Yeah, I remember that.
I think that was the hat-trick.
Ashton came on, that was the best performance because he just kept tumbling over in the game. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
He just kept tumbling over the ball every time he came on. Me and Danny at the sidelines pissing ourselves every time.
It was a good time,
that's what I remember. But no, absolutely. So those 3 goals, you scored 1 outside the box. Another goal outside the box.
One of the few.
Yeah.
It was actually quite a good one, that as well.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at it, JJ is the defender, and I'll always keep that one saved on my phone.
That's brilliant. And then you get to the third game, which is the 6-0.
Yeah.
Do you remember much about that?
Yeah, I remember. I didn't actually like.
It was JJ doing the slipping over this time.
Yeah. Everyone seemed to score but me, which I was quite annoyed about. Yeah, I don't remember it as well, probably because of that. Yeah, again, that was a really good game though. They were just. I would say Real MaFridge, out of all of the sort of mini rivalries we had, they were like the best and like good sports wise.
And then afterwards, you had that title charge, and then it's straight in to. I feel like I'm missing a lot out, but
no, you go straight into the relegation season.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
the new kits come in.
That's it. So take me through. At the start of that season, you had, or is it midway through? Yeah, it was midway through.
It was about late October, early November.
Yeah, that was it. So you get into that season, you're in the Premier League, and you sign someone called Vinny Arundel. Yeah. Take us through that signing. Whose idea was that?
Tyler.
Yeah. Why did you bring him in?
Tyler knew him. Obviously, I think we sort of thought for ages, so for about 7 months, we'd be playing with no subs, just 6 of us.
Yep.
Which worked fine because it meant you didn't have anyone to please or displease.
Yep.
Eventually, it got to a point where we thought we probably need somebody to come on and just. Bit of fresh legs. I think we also thought that if you could, Tyler wanted someone, or maybe not Tyler, but he knew someone who was like good physical. We realised that was a problem. We didn't have a lot of physicality, and maybe compared to some of the other teams. Obviously, he knew this person he worked with. Then the first time I met him was through Lindum. Brought him down, and he got on with everyone really well, fitted into the group sort of socially really well, and he was decent as player as well. You know, he joined, and then that was probably the first time we'd had a sub in like, or at least a regular appearing sub in months. You know, since like probably in like a year, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the start of that season, and then. I think we started it really well and then went on a bit of a rough patch because only the bottom team got relegated.
Yeah.
Is it right?
So
we were like 4 for ages, which was fine, and then you lose a few games, and then we got the new kits in. Obviously, that was with names on the back. Really.
Wait, take us through the ACB rolling game where Alex has that blunder, because that was another good game that he played.
Was that before or after?
That was before. That was one of the last games we played with the kits.
Yes, so that was 3-3, and that probably was the game that relegated us, really, because if we were 3-1 up, I think.
Yeah.
It was like 5 minutes to go, and then we were 3-2 up, and then literally last kick of the game, they equalised. And you look back at it now and go, well, if that goal didn't go in, we probably would have ended up staying up. I think that was the game. We didn't know it at the time, but
because you played them a couple of other times.
Yeah, but really we should have won that game. That was the one game that we absolutely should have won. And you think, well, there would have been an extra. Did you get 2 points for it, or was it 1 point?
It was 1 point for a draw, 2 points for a win.
Yeah, so that we would have had the extra point, and they would have lost 1 point.
Yeah.
So I always look at that and go, well, that was a 2 point.
Yes, it really, it was, wasn't it?
And we would have probably stayed up had we held on in that, which was one of the first games of the season. But looking back at it, not 100%. It was stupid goals conceded. It was just like, we were 3-2 up.
That was the one Tom's played.
30 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And So and then obviously, so that would have been, I don't know when it was, early October maybe.
Yeah. And then, how did Callum lose his shirt? And how was
he's an idiot. That's how he lost his shirt.
Oh my goodness, that iconic number 10 shirt is gone.
Well, it was, I don't know who's got it now.
No.
So, we went to Skegness for the caravan. Everyone bought the shirts because the idea was, it was like a Lindum trip, so I forgot to bring my shirt, so everyone else was wearing a shirt on this one day but me. And Callum, for some reason, took his off at some point, and then just left it under the bed in this person's caravan. So someone may have picked it up and taken it home. I don't know where it is now. I'd love to know where it is, because it could be anywhere.
It could be
probably in a bin, or it could be in someone's wardrobe somewhere.
Someone's definitely just like hung it up as memorabilia.
Well, that's the thing. Someone might have seen it and seen Lindum FC and searched it up, thinking it might be an actual football club.
That is. Do you know what? That is actually true.
Yeah, but I don't know.
If anyone does know where that shirt is and you've just come across this somehow from the Lindum page, please just get in contact. Genuinely, we'd love to hear it. Another shirt that's gone missing, because I want this segment before we get on to the new kits. Yeah. Another shirt that went missing that people always rave on about is that, you know, the number 1 shirt with the Wee Weekly 3 and the orange one. Do you know the orange one? Where's that gone?
No idea.
Yeah.
That's one of the great mysteries of the world.
I reckon Connor has it.
I think Connor twisted it. Cole Tennant might have had it, to be honest, because I know he wore it.
Yeah.
Him or Connor wore it.
Yeah. You ever seen that?
What they did with it?
Have you ever seen that show, The Mystery of the 1966 World Cup shirts, where I think Ricky Tomlinson, the one that plays Mike Bassett, goes around trying to find all the World Cup shirts that England wore? It's like that, isn't it? Where is that? There's that number orange shirt.
A couple of other ones as well that are missing.
Number 8 one's missing, isn't it? Number 4, yeah. Carl and Aaron will have that, I'm sure.
Number 3 one.
I remember.
There's one that you signed.
Yes, I did that. Yeah.
So I don't know where that one is.
That number, number 3. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. That's with Dan Poundle, because I signed it for him and gave it to him, and he took it. I don't know what happened behind that. I don't know why he did that.
Well, in the future,
but he just kept begging me for the shirt.
We might have to, re-get them for a museum.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do an expedition. Like they get a pop-up expedition of all the shirts. the channel that's been dead for years, Lindum FC shirts. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, there's a few because there was quite a few of those original ones. There was loads of them.
Yeah, number 3's gone. Number 2, where's number 2? 2's Dan.
Dan's got 2.
Number 1's gone. So number 1, number 3, number.
Was Carl? No.
Number.
I don't think Carl. I think he wore number 4, but I don't think he kept it because he never brought it back when we played after.
I'm not sure. He might have kept it and just not brought it those times. I don't know. It's a mystery, isn't it? So number 4's missing.
Number 5, where's Ad?
5, where's Ad?
Number 6.
Yeah, where is number 6? Michael Wood got that still, do you reckon?
Maybe. I forgot about Michael Wood.
yeah, Michael Wood.
Yeah.
You see, like Michael Wood there, and then number 7's Ryan, number 8's Aaron. I reckon Aaron's got that one.
I've got number 9.
You got number 9, yeah.
Number 10's in Skegness somewhere.
Yeah, number 10's in Skegness.
Was there a number 11?
I don't think there was.
Was there a number 12?
Yes, Cameron wore that. Yeah.
Where's that one?
I don't know.
I think it must have been a number 11.
I'm not sure. That's a really...
Because then you had... Yours was 95 and you had 23, which was...
Ben Whittle's still got it.
And Tyler had 19.
Tyler had 19, yeah.
But there must have been a number 11.
This is actually a really interesting conversation.
Go back to the original photo we took and see how many there were in that, because I don't think
we ever did like a turnaround, but there is video footage of us passing all the shirts around, and you can see all the numbers. So before we get to the new kit unveiling, what was the first kit unveiling like? Because that's probably the special one, because we'd never Lindum until that point.
Me, you and Ryan went and did it at the cathedral.
That's it.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Obviously, it was good to get my hands on the shirt for everyone else. I think I don't think I was doing anything, and Ryan was like, "Oh, George wants to do a bit of a photo shoot kind of thing," and I had nothing else to do, and I thought that's great because the kits were exciting the first time we got them. When you look at them now, you have them next to the newer shirt. They look a bit obviously dated, but I guess it's like a retro style.
It is, isn't it? Now, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think if we do ever, look, this is obviously pure speculation. If we ever did do another game, I think it'd be really cool if everybody bought both shirts.
One half in the first one, and then I mean, Callum can't really do that one, can he?
No.
He'll have to wear Dan's again. Bless him. But no, absolutely, that was really fun. Did you enjoy the whole like getting them out in front of everyone?
Yeah,
in the first one,
it was just a good like bit of fun.
That was against Knox Florrist, ironically. That first game we ever played, and I even made an appearance. Yeah.
Oh, did we not play against RWRFC? They were like the only other team to have kits in the league.
Yes, we played.
They were good.
That was it. Yeah, we played against them. That was the red team, wasn't it? Redwood Rovers.
Yeah.
And then anyway, we get straight to the new kit reveal, which I think you'll definitely have more memories of. Take us through that, because you were the soundtrack guy that put that on fire.
Producer.
Yeah, that's it. And then, take us through that. Who had the creative lead on that trailer? Because that trailer was outstanding, by the way.
I did all of it.
Well done. That was really good.
Did all the...
I can see why you sports journalism course now.
Yeah. The inspiration behind... There was two, obviously. There was like an intro style one. And then there was the actual announcement.
Yeah.
And I sort of teased it, got kits in the post. I put a little tease on the story, of like the zoomed in badge and stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously the inspiration behind the video was there was funny, probably like not as glamorous as you thought, but it was actually inspired by Man City's announcement of Jack Grealish signing.
Yeah.
They sort of did this like thing where you could slowly see the name on the back, and then I thought, wouldn't it be really cool if I did that with each player? So it sort of was slow motion on, you could see the names on the shirts, and then it was all everybody in the full kit. I really enjoyed making that video as well. I think we used the cathedral at night as well, which was really cool. And then I did the second one as like a sort of, because we had some leftover footage from that we never used. And I thought, I'll just do like a little intro. We only ever used once on the actual videos, but I had fun making that as well with the Kasabian song. Yeah, that was inspired by the old Championship.
Yeah.
Sky Sports intro from like 8 years ago or something.
Well, yeah. There was actually a little scene in it where Ryan vapes and he goes, it makes this smoky effect.
I thought, what are you doing? You just completely ruined this really cool shot of us all walking in slow motion. Then it looks really cool on the...
it's the way you pan it to the cross, and you can just see the smoke going through, and because it makes it misty and mysterious and in a good way, for sure. But now you've gone through the creative process of that, and then we get into the second They See Me Rolling game. This was JJ's debut in goal. No, actually he played a few appearances before that in goal, but this was his best appearance. And you guys come and you wear the shirts. Take us through your Mike Bassett moment.
That's an iconic moment.
Yeah.
I don't know what went through my head. Maybe I'd been watching the film. I don't think I'd watched the film before or something, but we all sort of stood on the side of the pitch, obviously quite a few.
Under the shelter.
Everyone's excited. It was raining. Everyone's excited because it's the first game of the new kit, so everyone's like sort of quite pumped up for it. But we was all waiting to get on the pitch. And then the other team finished, because they had a rule where you couldn't go on the sideline anymore unless it was your game, which I quite liked. And then obviously the game finishes, but everyone was still sort of like in conversation amongst themselves. So I just sort of like went, right, come on, let's go, and then just did the Mike Bassett wacko moment. And everyone found it funny. So you got whack. That was really. And then we won. So
there you go. Motivational team talk by Harry Nugent. And then you get on the pitch, and do you remember? I do, but do you remember who the first goal scorer was?
Wes.
Exactly, absolutely. Wes was very good. Wes scored the first goal. It was brilliant. I think it was fitting he did it because he's one of the originals. And then. And I also liked how at the time as well. Like you also played with the 6 that had stuck with Lindum through and through, which was really amazing to see, because you had a few people as well, I think, at the side lads like Vinny that could have played, but you played the original 6, which is outstanding. And I look back there and I think, that was really good way to start it. And then second half, it's getting a bit tense. They could easily equalise. JJ makes a few saves, and it's you that scores the winner. Take us through that.
Yeah, that was like right at the end of the game.
Because you had a bit of a tussle with one of their players, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, just before it.
Yeah.
And I remember like sort of Tyler's the ball. I was sort of tussling with him. He said something to me.
Yeah.
And I sort of, if you look at the clip, I sort of turned back and like laugh at him and go, "What are you on about?" Then I sort of I had this moment of adrenaline after he said something to me, and I sort of sprinted into the box where Tyler just rolled it to me, and then. So thanks for that guy for saying something to me, because it clearly...
You can tell by the shot as well that you had a bit of adrenaline, because you just roof it into the net and you just start running and with your arms out. The aeroplane celebration.
I knew it won us a game, and obviously, you sort of just... You don't really get a chance to celebrate, really, because obviously that was like the end of the game, and obviously it was 2-0, so we knew we'd won it. So kind of like... I wanted to score on the first game with the new kits, I wanted to get it.
Absolutely.
To a good start.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So yeah, you've scored that, and then there's a few games afterwards. We had the top of the league. We played
Wireless Boys.
Wireless Boys. That's it. Actually, no, they got relegated with us. Wireless Boys.
Yeah, because they joined after.
Yeah, and then they won the league outright the year after. So. Wireless Boys, play them. We beat them 5-4, which is incredible.
Yeah, and that was when I scored my 50th goal.
That was, yes.
There was footage of, but you can only hear the audio
and of
the ball hitting the back of the net.
You can slightly see your feet. Yeah.
Decided to just film the floor for that exact moment. And then he's like pines the camera up, and I'm putting and he didn't even see the goal, so it was so stupid.
That was one of the things I hated when When it wasn't me, and to be fair, the best filmer for me was Lottie, I think. The best camera person I think we've ever had.
Dan was alright.
Who?
Dan.
Oh, Dan, yeah.
He was okay.
Yeah, he was okay
when he could be asked to do it.
When he could be asked to film it.
Most of the time he just wanted to stand there and watch, and he's like, I'm not filming it. I missed the penalty in that game.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You hit the post, that was it.
Maybe
that was on camera. That was very, very HD footage. Yeah. Just a shame about the one you scored, yeah. I remember that. They made sure to go behind the goal.
I think that helped with the... yeah.
You can see it's the cameraman and the goal, can't you? But no, I remember that. But no, I always say your trademark goal was the 1v1s where you'd slot in bottom corner. I don't know about yourself, but you did that for your 50th. We move on, so we beat them 5-4. That was the JJ Hatrick comeback. We're getting into crunch time now. We get relegated against AC Me Rolling. Yeah. That was the one.
3-2, was it?
3-2, yeah. That first half we went 2-0 up as well, I think. Yeah. God.
I don't remember that well now. I just blocked it out of my head.
Good reason. Yeah. But I'm sure we roll season 5, and I'm sure you remember most of that season, don't you?
The last season, really. Yeah. We didn't know it at the time.
No.
And it probably was the best season in terms of results. So.
Feels strange to say it now when we're finished 4th in the end, doesn't it?
Well, because we were trying to get promotion.
We were so close. It was literally last game of the day where we,
what are they called?
bottled it completely.
What's the team called?
Into
your mum.
Into Gills.
Into your nan.
Into Gills.
Oh, into your nan, wasn't it? Oh, into Gills.
Under
21.
Yeah, into
There's
Gills.
Probably another team called Into Your Nan or something.
That was ages ago, yeah. Into Gills.
They were like always doing my head in every time we played them.
Yeah.
But I scored my only left-footed goal.
Yeah.
In my entire career against them.
I remember that.
It was a very good one, but it was a left-footed goal nonetheless.
I remember that first game. The first game we played better, but we, a couple of errors at the back, goalkeeper error, left us stranded 2-2. I don't know who was in goal for that one. And then the second one was the game where we played they were 2 very lucky goals, you have to admit. He scored them both.
The first one was...
One of them, you hit it, the keeper, and he just spins it with his foot to the end. That was it, yeah.
And then the second one was posting in, but you know.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good finish.
Yeah, absolutely. But that game, I feel like the first game we should have won and the second game we should have had the draw really, but it actually went the opposite way around, which was good. I always said I thought we were a better team than them, and we proved it that night for me.
Obviously you're missing,
I know that
you missed out the, just a little one. Going into that season, we got Alex in.
Yes, yes, that's it.
So
Alex.
Then we had 2 subs.
Was it the last game, wasn't he? The last couple of games as the sidelines. Then he said, "Oh, bet."
Well, his team had not going back for another season, so he was a free agent.
Yeah,
and we brought him in, and he was great. Got on really well with everyone.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to him since the last game, to be fair.
It's a shame that we didn't continue that, because what I mean is I think it was the correct time to push, wasn't it?
To be fair, on that anyway.
Yeah.
By that point, so this would have been, 2023, 2023.
Yeah.
By that point, the whole, a group of 5 good friends was not a thing anymore anyway.
No, yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone will mind me saying this, but you know, at that point, I wasn't really friends with Callum anymore.
No.
Me and Ryan are still kind of friends. I was only really spoke to Wes and Tyler outside of Lindum at that point. When it came to the other lads, Callum and Ryan, Ryan maybe not so much, he was a bit more here and there because I saw him at work and stuff, but I only really saw or spoke to them at Lindum when by that point it was just purely a football based relationship. Saw him at the football, said hello, as soon as the game was over, said goodbye, and that was it. So at that point there wasn't really much of that remaining anyway. We were really close at that point, the 5 of us, off the pitch. By that point, as a group, not really. And that's fine. I think anyone was like, that just happens in life sometimes. You just drift away from people. Nothing ever, there was no arguments really. Not like proper ones anyway, other than little squabbles. It was just simply like, time and growing up and stuff. And so at that point, we'd all kind of grown up a bit compared to like 2 years ago and a year ago.
Yeah.
And we weren't really really close anymore anyway, so it became just like purely a footballing thing. And so it was easy to sort of do that thing of, now we actually kind of want to get people in and go from more of a picking a team based on who's going to win the game, not who our friends were. So it just sort of panned out in that way. And then obviously you're coming towards, I guess I'll just go into like how it all ended. It didn't end in a big argument or anything. That kind of played into the end of Lindum in a way, because it got to a point where obviously then we left the league after that season.
I think it was more the crap of the league.
But we left because of that reason. But the reason obviously everyone was about joining another league, but really I was going off to uni. As far as I know, Wes didn't really speak to Callum that much anymore. Ty didn't really speak to Callum that much anymore. They didn't really speak to Ryan that much anymore. Those two, I can't really go into like other people's business, but I'm pretty sure they don't talk to each other anymore anyway.
Ryan and Wes?
No, Ryan and Callum.
Oh, Ryan, yeah. Okay.
So, it was just sort of like, it just sort of went out in a whimper.
Yeah. I remember Tyler's message to the league he says something like, "This league is shit, we're leaving, bye." I was like, I read that.
Just say how it is, innit, at the end of the day. Soon after, all sort of fell apart. And actually I saw, I never told, I haven't spoken to you since really. So me and Tyler saw Eddie, the ref.
Has it been that long?
In the Magna Carta pub at Christmas.
Yeah.
Not last Christmas, the Christmas just before, so about 6 months, 7, 8 months after we'd left the league.
Yep.
We were doing a pub crawl for Christmas, 12th was Christmas, and we went in the Magna Carta, me and Tyler, and he was there at the bar. I don't know if we were at the bar, and he came up and said, "All right, lads." And we were like, "Oh my God," and we were talking to him for a bit, and then we asked him about Soccer Sixes, and he said, "Oh no, it ended like 3 or 4 weeks after you guys left. It was an absolute shit show," he said.
Yeah.
He said it was a shit show before that. It'd been a shit show for like a year. He said it was barely running, and the guy who ran that league just had no idea what was going on, didn't really know what was going on with teams, didn't really care.
He didn't.
And really, Eddie was saying, I was basically running the league in the end. And, you know, so...
Do you think that some people, not all of them, but some people are a bit deflated after that promotion season?
Yeah, maybe. Also, at that point, the whole thing with... Obviously, everyone wants to play football anyway, so that wasn't the problem. But I think the whole thing with the Lindum thing, at that point, it felt like we were coming to an end of it.
Yeah, it did.
It felt like it had run its course. It felt like we'd done as much as we could. We'd reached the ceiling. We'd done as much as we could have done.
Yeah.
And it felt like, you know, in terms of the sort of online thing anyway, I left anyway, and you know, I could have stayed and come back and played, and
I remember.
But I just decided, you know what, it's like it just felt like the right time.
It did.
You know.
It did. I agree. So that season then, we played a few teams. So we played Interguilds. We talked about the Interguild games. I still believe we're better than them, but they got the ultimate bragging rights at the end because we fell asleep. I think that game was one of the worst we've ever played because we bottled it. We went 3-2 up, and then they just managed to get late goals. It was awful. We bottled the league there, like the promotion. However, before that, you had the homosexuals games. How did you feel about those homosexual games? Because the first couple of games, very competitive.
Yeah.
The other games, it was a bit of a whitewash. So take us through the first homosexuals game. Before that, I'll be honest, I thought we was going to get absolutely. I'll be honest, I thought we was going to get absolutely rinsed.
The homosexuals game. Yeah, they're a decent team.
But
Danby
recruited
quite a few good players.
He
There's
did.
a change. Rather than getting Shane Purdy and Ashton Crossing again, they actually some bit of quality. So what was it? Was it a draw? 3-3.
3-3. Yeah. We were 3-1 up at one point.
Yeah, you saved the penalty.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So that was a good game.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's really weird looking back at it now. That was like, in terms of how much I enjoyed playing the football, that season was my favourite. But off the pitch, like, because we had a good time before that, we used to go to the games together and walk home from the games together. And that was, you know, probably the bit that sort of faded away in the end. So I say, like, off the pitch, I enjoyed the earlier seasons or the 2022 kind of time more, because it felt like more of a
family.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah. Whereas at the end, but I didn't enjoy it as much on the pitch as that.
No.
So the homosexuals game I can't remember.
Okay.
I actually don't remember these games as well as you do, I don't think. I remember the score lines, but I don't really remember the sort of goals. I remember bits and bobs here and there, but
that's why I might sound like I'm not butting in, but narrating it a bit for you. But I'm just trying to jog your memory a little bit. Yeah, that's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But no, absolutely, you're correct, Harry. So 3-3. There was a goal line clearance from you. Well, not a goal line clearance, but like edge of the D. You managed to stop it going in from a shot from Astra. Yeah, and then we win that. Well, we drew that 3-3, which surprised me.
This season was I moved down the pitch, like Wayne Rooney as he got older.
You were very much.
I was a right wing back.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, you were very much on the wings for the whole. It was a strange one, wasn't it?
A bit like I'm trying to think of a better example. Well, I'll just use Rooney as he got older in his career, went from striker and he ended up in a CDM at Derby. Part of it was because JJ came in and was just I found a bit of joy at right wing back. To be fair, there's a 3-1-1 in defence and then a 1-2-1 almost in possession. And I think it worked most of the season. To be fair, that system. Yeah. So that was what happened in the end, and then obviously that was we had a bit of a promotion race and fell short ultimately in the end, unfortunately. But I think it's probably my most fun I had on the pitch. So I'm not really, that's what matters most really. It's exciting.
That's amazing.
I know it's the typical saying, it's about having fun.
Yeah.
But really, as much as you want to make it competitive and you want to win, it's six-a-side, and you really, what are you going to play football on Wednesday night? You're going to escape from your job, your school or college, whatever. You just release a bit of steam and have fun, and that's really what you've got to focus on at the end of the day, and probably what in the earlier days we failed to do. I think it was too, the mentality was all about we need to be competitive and scoring goals, but really at that time more so we probably should have been just going, well, let's just go and play football, and if we get battered, we get battered. Let's be shouting at each other for this and the other. So for 2.5 years, it was such a massive part of my life. Every week, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and we had a great time. We had some good memories. We had a couple of bad moments, but there's always going to be bad moments.
Everything, yeah.
Would I change anything that happened? No. And I mean both on the pitch and off the pitch. I'd honestly say I think it shaped who I am today. I think it shaped the person I grew into, and I think it shaped a lot of what I have ended up doing. I have Lindum to thank for giving me that spark in my life, really. So, yeah, don't regret how it ended. I think it was fine, and that's all I've got to say on it, really.
Absolutely. No, for sure, 100%. Let's break it down then. So we've talked about the whole journey through. What would you say was your favourite memory? Give us one memory of that Lindum experience, and why.
I'm going to go with the Scoregasm.
Yeah.
4-2 game.
Yeah, that was a good game. Talk us through that.
So, obviously that was not the first win, but it was the first time we'd beaten a team that were better than us. They weren't just some crap team of ex-Lindum players. So it was the first time we'd properly beaten a team in the league, and they were obviously top of the league. And it was it was like David versus Goliath, wasn't it? I mean, they had a couple players who play for the England Defs international team. They're very good. And it was a classic smash and grab. Got a bit of lucky with a penalty in the first half, and then it's 1-1, I think. They went 1-0 up in 20 seconds, I remember that. So then it was 1-1 at half time, and somehow we just sat back and we were just blocking everything. Yeah. Getting a bit lucky. They hit the post a couple of times, but you've got to ride your luck in them situations. And then obviously the ball breaks, and you just really, what we said every game was try and defend, and if you get a chance, you've got to take it. And Ryan obviously got 2 chances and put them both away, and then 3-1. And then I remember my second goal in that game was right at the end. Not right at the end, but there's sort of 7-8 minutes to go and we're 3-1 up, and you obviously using goal, obviously, I forgot about that. You obviously rolled it out, and I went up and pressed, and you can hear in the video Tyler going, "Harry, get back, mate," because he wanted to sit back and defend. And I was, for some reason, I don't know what possessed me, I thought, no, I'm just going to press, because if he beats me, they've then got a 3-on-3, and obviously they're a good enough team that, our advantage was that we would always we were going man to man with them. But I managed to get the ball right at the top of the pitch and put it in for 4-1, and we just that's it. That was probably my favourite memory.
Brilliant. I think we've talked pretty much about everything in that Lindum chapter. You brought up everything, so I'm just going to get a few questions I actually had. Get out my notes, because I've freestyled most of this. Right. You studying at the Manchester University, what does a typical week for you look like at UCFB?
So usually we'll be in 3 times a week for lectures and seminars. Yep. So that'll probably be Monday, Tuesday, and then either Thursday or Friday. So Monday, Tuesday I'll be in. Yep. And then probably putting your feet up after that. If it's closer to an assignment time, like Wednesday, I could be in the studio. If not, I'm probably doing something else. Well, obviously, sometimes if it's football season, which most of the time it is at uni, there might be a Champions League game on Wednesday night. So if it's at home or away, actually, I went to Madrid. I'd go to that, and then that's on a Wednesday, and then Thursday probably in uni again. Sometimes it's on a Friday, but we usually do Thursday this last year. And then the weekend is just for getting up to all sorts of stuff, I suppose, when you're at uni.
You've did the drinking. Speaking of one of those days, then you met a popular Manchester City vlogger, and I know that for a fact because she was in, well, you might not met him, but I saw you in one of his videos on Instagram, I believe.
MCFC Lads.
That's it, MTFC Lads, there you go.
I have met him a few times, but I think I know the video you're referring to.
Yeah, and I was just like, what's Harry doing in there?
Is it by chance?
Yeah.
The Marmouche.
It might have been.
Song.
Yes, it was a song that he was chanting, yes.
That I made up. So there's a story.
Yeah.
So that was in a karaoke bar.
Yep.
In Madrid.
Yeah, Madrid?
Yeah,
okay.
about 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we won the karaoke, and obviously we can get into this thing with Madrid. There's a reason why we're there, obviously.
Yeah.
And we could just sign Marmouche about a couple of weeks before, and he really started hitting the ground running. ABBA came on, someone was singing ABBA, and like me and the two people I was with, had happened, we just tagged along with these other group of City fans, which happened to be with MCFC Lads. Like, we'd met him in this pub before, and he was, well, we're all going to this karaoke bar at like 2 in the morning, so we joined him. And then I started going, singing to the tune of Give Me a Man After Midnight. Give me a striker from Egypt. And then everyone kind of joined in, and then MCFC Lads filmed it, put the lyrics on and put it on Instagram. So that was there the next day in the morning. So there you go. Didn't really catch on after that.
What was he like as a person? Because you've met him a few times.
He's such a lovely person. Yeah, and obviously, I know you get people on.
He gets a bit of stick.
Yeah, of course he does. Because
I like
football fans.
I like him.
Yeah, but he's such a lovely lad. Like, he's got time for everyone, and he doesn't really like. Even if you're a fan of another club, that's not like he'd have a good chat with you. And he's a really nice lad, and he's done really well for himself, and he's doing really well for himself. Very smart as well. He's really I think he's got a degree at Uni Manchester, and he honestly, I can see him going. I mean, he's already been on Sky Sports a few times, hasn't he?
Yeah, he knows.
He'll do really well for himself. Like in that industry, he gets the thing of like MCFC Lads on his own again, but he does actually go with these 3 lads every game. Like, it's not in the videos because it's his channel. That's
incredible. You've met a popular person and who I've watched quite a lot. So it's really kind of, when I saw you. I'm not a Manchester City fan, but you know, football content's football content, isn't it? And I saw that, and I was like, wow, he really is in with the Manchester City. Soon he'll be doing penalty shoots-outs with Haaland, maybe KSI, Logan Paul. You never know. Oh man, that's incredible. What's been your favourite, moment of uni? Like, give me an all-time favourite moment. It can be anything. It can be a project you've done, it can be getting drunk at the pub, whatever.
So I'll say 2. I'll do one from like an actual, I could like something that is something I'm proud of. Yeah. And then I'll do like a fun one.
Yeah.
So the one I'm most proud of, it's literally happened like 3 months ago. It was our biggest assignment yet. It was supervised by, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, James Cooper. He used to be the Manchester correspondent for Sky.
Oh yeah.
For like 20 years. So he was a tutor for us for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
It was TV studio production was the module. We had to make a group of 10 of us to make an actual TV programme. 15 minutes long. Like a feature length sport news programme. And we got an actual studio. So like an actual TV show with, I mean, way more like fancy than this. I'll actually show you a picture. And I was
cheeky bastard. Cheeky
obviously like there's like 10 or 15 of us, and we each get a role. So there's 2 presenters, camera operators, lighting operator, director, producer, editors, and the producer's the most important role, and we got to pick the roles. And I, for some reason, chose to be the producer, which is
fair play.
Everything's like on you, view.
Fair play.
In the studio there.
No, that's really nice.
And,
That's only slightly more advanced than this studio.
Yeah, just a
little bit.
Yeah, so obviously we did everything ourselves, but the guys supervising it was 2 guys that worked for Sky for 20 years, and they were marking it. So James Cooper, obviously I mentioned him earlier briefly, he was sat in on all our sessions of filming and stuff, and like writing notes down and marking it. So we did that over like a 5-week period. We were recording stuff outside of uni as well to put in it, so little news snippets. We had an interview with Premier League footballer, I mean he's not, well, Jeremy Monga, who made the youngest Premier League player ever, came on for Leicester at 15. One of the guys who we was working with, one of the editors, and messaged me and said, oh, I've got a mate who knows him, so we can get him for an interview. So we had him in there. So we had like some really good content, and then we obviously put it all together, filmed it in a studio.
That's incredible.
Obviously as the producer, I had to do like the leader, making sure everything was running smoothly, write a script for it. And in the end, I got a first. I scored 74 out of 100. So
well done.
It's that's the thing I think it's probably the thing in terms of stuff in school or stuff academically, that's probably the thing I'm most proud of ever. Because I wasn't that good at school. I didn't really get good grades. I wouldn't have even thought I'd gone to uni, and then obviously you find something that you enjoy doing, and it becomes a lot easier to. You probably would have found this with this. It becomes a lot easier to engage with and actually put a lot of effort into it. And to get that, and the comments I got off somebody who's so experienced in that industry and got a lot of ins as well. To get that feedback off him is probably like, really important. So that was like, the academic one. And then, what was the question? What have you enjoyed?
What was your favourite memory? So that was like, now we're in the road carry.
And then we'll go with, well, there's a few options.
He's had a few wild ones, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'll go with this one, although it wasn't really anything to do with uni, but it happened whilst I was there. I got the opportunity to, this isn't anything to do with like, I didn't get this opportunity through university or anything. I just obviously went to Real Madrid away with City. So the first ever European away I've done, and that was about in February. So I was obviously at uni at the time, and generally one of the best experiences of my life. Like, the game means nothing. I don't care about the result. That just, I mean, it was obviously shit. We got battered 3-1 or something, I can't even remember. But the actual, I went up the night before, I got in about 7, and that's obviously when that MCFC Lads video was that night. And then my 2 other mates came the morning after because I booked the long flight. And just, that is one of the most fulfilling things you can ever do as a football fan, is when we was in the square of Madrid, and even actually the night before, I was texting like people going, where's all the City fans? Oh, they're all in this Irish pub. And that's when I bumped into MCFC Lads and ended up on a karaoke bar even at 2 in. But when you're we were sat in this square, and it's hundreds and hundreds of miles away from where you usually are at your stadium, and you're seeing people that you're used to seeing at the stadium at home, and it's going, all right, well, how did you get here and stuff, and you're there and everyone's chanting, and even though we already knew we was going to go out, everyone's having a good time, and you're talking to random people, and people are coming and sitting with you, and we was in the square in Madrid, and I was sort of sat there at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so a few hours before kick-off, because it was 9 o'clock kick-off in Spain, obviously. And I was just looking around and going, I think I understood what supporting my football club or a football club was about more than ever in that moment, because I was like, all of these people have all spent money, they've all booked time off work to come here and probably watch us lose, even though, you know, as good as we are, and I know we've been spoiled and stuff, but, you know, it's like, that's what it's about. And if you ever get the opportunity, which I know you probably won't, as a Lincoln City fan, to go and watch your team play in Europe, you never know. You've got, you know, a few years.
First you're saying the studio shit, and now you're calling me team shit. Aaron, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to get at?
There might be a League Cup win or something there, and you're getting Conference League.
You're very much right,
If ever that opportunity comes where the stars align, you've got to do it. It's like the peak of supporting your club. Even if you lose, it's just that opportunity. To
see the European Championship.
But not even like the stadium bit, just the experience of going somewhere with all these people that, you know, you might not even know him that well, but you're like, oh, I've seen him, he sits a few rows in front of me, or I've seen him,
what you mean.
I've seen him in the pub, and then you go, oh yeah, you sit, they're all there for a common reason. It's like seeing your
local area, but in a different geographical location, isn't it?
Like.
Exactly.
And everybody's there for a good, like having a good time, and not really. I mean, in that situation, in particular, nobody was really bothered about the result, because we all knew we were already going out. So everyone was kind of just in, oh well, we're all in Spain, let's just have a good time. And it was generally one of the best 36 hours I've had from when I left England till kick-off, basically. Because everything after kick-off was shit.
Yeah. Wow.
And the Bernabeu, I mean, it's an incredible stadium.
That's wow.
To do. So that's probably my favourite moment whilst I've been.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick fire questions. We did this with all our podcast guests. I'm sure you know which it is. Out of all the podcast guests, I'm actually wondering, what is your favourite meal deal that you'd get? Like, what would you go out and get?
All day breakfast sandwich. So the drink, if it's early in the morning, probably get one of the flavoured Red Bulls. But if it's the afternoon, probably just a Coke Zero or a Dr Pepper maybe. And then for the snack, so I sometimes get crisps. If I get crisps, I'll get Skips. And if I get a chocolate bar, I'll get a Boost.
Departed question then, like, where can people find you? Because I'm sure there'll be people wanting to follow your journey as a sports journalist or whatever you like to do. So, like, where can people follow your journey? Any socials or anything? What we got planned next?
I've got Instagram, but I can't remember what my username is, so I'll tell you it now.
There you are.
So Instagram is h.nugs05.
Yep.
With underscore. And then if you really like probably more about the professional stuff, LinkedIn. Just go and connect with me on LinkedIn. I put a lot of stuff that I'm doing more and so on that than Instagram with sort of sports broadcasting stuff is all on there. So it's like, if I'm ever doing anything industry wise or career wise, it'll be on there. So more so than Instagram is more personal stuff really. So
absolutely,
it'll be just Harry Nugent on LinkedIn. Search it and find it somewhere.
There you go, Harry Nugent. Thank you very much for coming on, Harry. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good to catch up with you. Yeah. And we've spoke about absolutely everything, Lindum days and everything. You've spoke about your journalistic career. Is there anything else you want to mention?
No, I don't think so. I think that's pretty much everything.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Harry. And everyone here, this is the last ever episode in this studio, as far as the foreseeable future, but this is the last ever episode in this studio before we go online for a bit and try and find somewhere else. So Harry, unlikely so, you were the last guest I ever have in here. Must be a pleasure, eh?
Yeah.
What a privilege, man. I appreciate you coming in, man.
No worries.
Thank you very much. Lindum's all-time top goal scorer and the rising sports journalist, Harry Nugent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.
It's been a pleasure.